We are live, and it is a postseason edition. But before we get into all of that, Stevie, I was going to ask you stuff about the Bills and everything, but you showed up looking like you're fresh off of your plane. So I think the people want to know, how was your trip?
Man, the trip was amazing. If anybody can experience another place, I would recommend hitting up Thailand. We experienced all regions from the north to the south and central. In the heart where Bangkok is, and it's just something different, man. Like, just people like they taking care of each other. You know what I mean? There's no in between, no nonsense. If you need something, hey, you get what you need and you move on. And it's something you got to experience in a sense, though.
I really want to go. I've never been. The pictures you posted looked amazing. The view you had, you were on boats. I saw. I also saw. I think your children were smoking you a little in ping pong at one point.
Yeah, man, it was fun. They very creative out there. You know, the boat was a creative creation that they made with they had the real plants on there. They did like dining. It was pretty neat how they set it up. If people came from America and saw these things, I think it would be so much more creation and innovation out here in the States. Just looking at how they get it done there, and at the end of the day, they're not taxing you at all for it. Food is everywhere, every corner and every alley. It's like no wasted space, to be honest. Everybody's, I won't want to say like hustling because nobody's getting over on each other, but like they working and they providing for the community. It's pretty cool.
They're grinding, right? They're on their Stevie Johnson.
Man, hey, you dig?
But so you're the football player in the family. Your kids are the ping pong players.
Man, they can do it all. I mean, I took it easy. That was just level one right now. You can't really take them. You know what I mean? You can't take them to championship level just off top. You got to build them up. So I'm building this confidence right now, and we on that level where we can compete now. So that was the last victory you go get.
I love it. I remember the first time I beat my dad in something. It's a moment that I think every kid remembers. But Stevie, since you've been back, man, the playoffs are here, and we have a lot to talk about. So, Jimmy,
turn up your volume. Because you're about to listen to The Sick Podcast. Bill's Banter with Stevie Johnson and Michael F. Florio.
Fitzpatrick fires. Oh, caught! Steve Johnson! Touchdown, Buffalo! Why so serious?
The sickest Buffalo Bills podcast.
Allen will run it himself. He pumps. Got some daylight. Hurdles to the end zone.
It's gonna be sick.
Man, it's showtime. It's showtime. Playoff time. That's what I'm talking about. It's showtime, playoff time. You know, shout out to everybody in the Bills Banter community, everybody that's tuned in, everybody that will be tuned in. We're going to be talking all Bills, the playoffs, the breakdowns. We go give our trophies of the year. We go do it all.
Regular season edition. Hopefully,
regular
season. You don't have to give
edition.
out playoff edition ones for a while.
Facts. That part.
This was a big week for you though, because you traveled abroad, you came back home, and you kind of had to say goodbye to your home away from home.
Yeah, man. But it's good to be back though. I'm fully locked in. That was necessary. I think the missus and I've been planning on moving out the country for a while, man. And so that was like our first experience, really being in the depths of it, different time zone and still managing digital work. Which was pretty cool. And I did that kind of purposely. I wasn't perfect on it, but it gave me an understanding on what life would be if I were to move out the country and still maintain, work in the States. And it was very interesting considering like the place where I was in Thailand. It was beautiful. Like it was just peaceful. No rush at anything, whatever you needed, you can get it and get it done quickly. You don't have to wait if you did need something major. Like pharmacies and things, it's all there for you. It was just cool, and hopefully we can get some type of banter trip going on in the future to Thailand.
It's funny you talk about that because me and my wife talk a lot about like if when we retire, obviously a little bit down the road and stuff, but like moving to another country like Amsterdam or something like that, and where it's just a chill vibe and stuff. But everyone, I have to give some credit here because he was away. He was in another dimension at one point. He jumped so many time zones, and he was still hitting us up about the pod with ideas and wanting to talk Bills. He was still doing the post game show. So credit to you, man. You might have been on vacation.
Hey, it's legit, man. I really mess with the community. I mess with this creation, and I think we can definitely do some things. We got some cool collaborations on deck also. You know, I got some messages from a few people from other podcasts that's doing real well, and I think we can do some creative things with them and on podcasts and in the field. You know, I think it'll be pretty sweet to do some new things with the podcast world.
We got a lot of and exciting ideas for the off season, but hopefully we don't get to even talk about them for another month or so. But before we get into all that, we did say goodbye to all of our homes away from home this weekend with Highmark Stadium. So why don't we bring one and only Drew Buckets in, and we could get this conversation starting. So we have Drew with us, right? Let's bring Mr. Buckets in.
Buckets, what up, though, man?
Gentlemen,
how you feeling out there?
Hey, I'm feeling nostalgic, as Guru was saying. You know, all the memories, all the flashbacks, all the posts coming in from the entire community, young, old, you know, OGs. You got, you know, people who have been there from day one all the way up to current day. So seeing everything that people have been posting is flooding the emotional wavelengths. It's awesome.
Hey, Buckets, I know you usually give us what the community talk about, but before you give us the community thoughts, what's your favorite memory at Highmark, the Ralph, or whatever you want to call it? What's your favorite?
November of 2022, when I got to go with my family, my uncle, my aunt, my cousins, but more importantly, I got to go with my sister to watch the Bills-Vikings game. It was the game of the year. Unfortunately, the Bills lost. Justin Jefferson lost his mind. You know, we lost a fumble on the goal line, you know, that whole thing. But just being in Highmark with the fam and chilling and with the entire fan base, as we call it, Bills Mafia, it was amazing, man. It was the best. And knowing now that was my last time there, unfortunately, it just made it that much more special that it was my sister's first game, and she got to experience it in, you know, the best way possible. It was an unbelievable atmosphere. The crowd was hyped the entire game because it was such a close game all the way down to the last play. And, you know, just to see our guys go up against the best in the Vikings that year, it was just unbelievable. And that, you know, there's been many moments outside of the stadium that I've had, but inside, that was probably the best one that I've ever had.
Yeah, I remember that game. It was a lot of emotions. The Vikings were tough. Justin Jefferson was on one at that time. And, we was actually winning that game and cruising, and not really cruising, but yeah, I can understand. Won. Yeah, we should have won. And at the end, that crazy one-hander.
When he went back,
what happened? Yeah, that was wild, but I can understand that. Guru.
But we want to know from you, Stevie. Me and Drew were texting on the side when you were away, and we were like, we got to have Stevie on to talk about Highmark, right? The Ralph, whatever you want to call it, because we have memories of it. You made memories there. So what was some of your favorite moments there?
Yeah, that's pretty sweet. So I can start with the memory that got me known in the Bills Mafia, and that was preseason versus Detroit Lions, rookie year, and Jabron Hampton telling me to run a slant. Like, nah, man, the people don't want to see a slant; they want to see a fade. Come on, so hey, throw the fade. And he was like, no, hit the slant, and I'm like, man, fade. 3, 2, 1. He gotta snap the ball. I go to the fade. He just let it loose, and I go up and get it. And I turned to the crowd and I acknowledged the crowd. Why did I acknowledge the crowd? Because I noticed, you know, like nobody was really doing that in Buffalo. it seemed kind of sad, you know what I mean? Where these fans was here and they were celebrating. I know this team was doing bad or losing games, but even when y'all make plays, y'all just going back to the huddle. It was crazy to me. So, I wanted to bring a different energy. And then I also thought, with how social media was starting to take off, it was mainly message boards, basically. It was a lot of people in message boards. So I figured if I did that, they would, they'll recognize that number 13. So that was one great memory that I had. A sad memory, obviously, the Pittsburgh game. Another one from there, I'm going to say, was the Patriots game when we won that. That was pretty amazing considering the dynasty that they had. And then I would say when LaShawn McCoy, that touchdown in the snow.
It
had nothing to do with me, but I mean, that was crazy. It just looked beautiful. It was everything about Buffalo. And on top of that, Buffalo was winning. And they had that all red looking uniforms on. It was cold, man. And
Eric Wood spike.
Yeah. E Wood on the team. Shout out to the captain. It was that's probably at the top right now of what I can think of.
Them literally having the players push the snow off so they could kick the ball. Like that was a really fun one.
That was magical.
I mean, even in recent years, right? Like the Josh Allen to Cooper to when they lateraled it back to Josh. He scored the 2 touchdowns on one play, like in the snow. You know what? To me, the coolest moment of this was it had nothing to do with the game. It was after the game when they were playing Iris by Goo Goo Dolls on the loudspeaker, with showing the highlights of the stadium and all the cool plays that have been there. And like Trey White was stopped in his tracks to watch it, and there was not a person who left the stadium at that point. And you see like tears in the eyes and stuff. It's crazy because the team's not going anywhere, right? Like they're going to be back next year, but it just shows you how much this building, everything means to the community.
Yeah, and it is not the best one. You know what I'm saying? Like. When I say that, obviously all the new stadiums, they've been revamped and a high tech, which is definitely what the Buffalo Bills earned. Obviously, what they've been putting in, the work they put in, and changing the culture and going nationwide with it. So they earned that building across the street. But this building, the way people really tied into it, you got to think about it. The Bills could have had a beautiful location 10 years ago when Toronto was asking. Toronto don't deal with bad setups and things like that. So the Bills really was engraved in this community in Orchard Park, and it's a testament to the community that they stayed for 53 years. You know what I'm saying? And now they just going to get to an elevated crib.
I will say, as someone, look, I grew up in New York City, right? Not Buffalo. I grew up highway exits away from Shea Stadium. So I was there all the time. The Mets were my first love, all of that. When they built Citi Field, their new state-of-the-art stadium, I was sad for years. And then you fall in love with the new building and you're like, oh, all right. Like it is a much nicer building. So you'll always miss the Ralph, Highmark, whatever you want to call it. But the new stadium is state-of-the-art. And a few games there, maybe when you're not freezing, sitting in 20 inches of snow, you might change your mind on the building.
Exactly, that part. So they going to really enjoy the new stadium a lot, and then not to mention not only football and sports, it's going to be all types of concerts, it's going to be all types of activations that's going to happen now that they're in a location like that, which I like to call it the Palace already is what it looks like to me, the Palace at Orchard Park.
When I was there for the Vikings game, it was the Pit. We went from the Pit to the Palace.
To the Palace, right? It's only right.
Man, the Pit was my favorite thing. Like, that fans were jumping into the Pit. I was like, this is amazing. Like, no other fan base has that.
No.
I did want to ask you guys, though. Do you think yesterday was the final game we will ever see at Highmark? Because if the Bills make the AFC Championship game, and the Chargers make the AFC. That's the only scenario. But if that happens, there will be another game at Highmark.
Right. So
it's like what?
Let's talk about that bucket. So is the Chargers play the Patriots, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And whoever win from that will play against is it the Broncos?
Don't they reseed?
Yeah. But if the Chargers win, they're guaranteed to get the Broncos.
Okay,
Right.
So we're basically rooting for the Chargers all the way through
Yes.
to get another game. Okay.
Yes.
I mean, is it possible for them to beat the Patriots?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think
Outside
so
of the Bills, the Patriots haven't beat a team as good as the Chargers.
Indeed, and I feel like if Justin Herbert come out and attack, well, I ain't even gonna say Justin Herbert because he's always ready. It's about the offensive coordinator and how he bring out that first 15, I would say, and how they protect him because obviously Herbert is running for his life almost every play in since he's been in the league. So it's how they attack and use their playmakers. You got Keenan Allen. Utilize them until you can't anymore, like till the wheels fall off. You got one of the greatest receivers that can get open and understand coverages. Utilize him to death. That is what I would do if I was the Chargers in this situation against a Patriots team who, they did well, but you look at the teams in the win-loss percentages. Like they've only beat mediocre teams,
Yeah.
So they're very vulnerable. So I think it might be a slim chance, but there's a chance for sure that there's another game in Buffalo.
But we're going to talk a lot of Bills, but I did want to ask you while you brought up Keenan. Stevie, what's it like that you could see two of your former teammates, Phillip Rivers and Keenan Allen, potentially ride out in the same year, be Hall of Fame eligible in the same year? Like that's got to be pretty cool.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's a lot of players that I play with, even that don't even get the acknowledgement, like a Malcolm Floyd. Malcolm Floyd was a savage.
Dog.
He was super cool, man.
Dog.
He went, man, yeah, like he helped out Phillip Rivers a lot. He helped out Keenan a lot. Just that presence. It's pretty cool to see them guys now, especially Phil. To be off for 5 years and then get a bonus few games or whatnot. I don't know if he's still on the roster or not. But I mean, that's pretty sick to see. It makes you want to be a part of that or do something like that. But yeah, that's natural thoughts. But yeah, it's definitely cool to see.
He held his own, man. Like Rivers played way better than I expected.
Yeah, I mean, imagine if they could have held on defense just to get that first dub. Where he got them down there, and yeah, man, it would have been a hell of a send off if he was able to get them into the playoffs.
Colts almost did the Bills a huge favor this weekend. They nearly beat the Texans. And look, I will fully admit, I did not want the 5 seed because I was thinking that it was going to be the Ravens. But now that it's Pittsburgh, I'm like, man, Josh should have hit Shakir on that 2-point conversion because even more than the first round matchup, what worries me is if they do face Houston, they have to go to Houston now.
Yes.
And Josh has never won there.
Right. I mean, shoot, you can say that about Jacksonville. We haven't won in Jacksonville. Which, matter of fact, Jimmy, you ready for it? Hit us with the Why So segment. A little bit delayed, but here we go. Hit us with the Why So serious segment. Hey, that's a real Why So Serious. But look, straight to the fan base. This is what it's about. The Buffalo Bills haven't won in Jacksonville. The first ever playoff game for McDermott was in Jacksonville, and we couldn't stop Blake Bortles. Trey White was on that team. I remember I listened to him after the game, after Week 18 game, and he brought that up. He thought about that game. So it's good to see that it's on his mind, and they are all getting serious about it. But hey, it's pretty crazy that the Buffalo Bills haven't beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, and the Jaguars haven't gotten worse; they got better, and they're pretty creative on that offensive side too. So it's gonna be an entertaining matchup. What we got from the community?
We got a lot. The emotions are high. The emotions are high coming off it's essentially a bye week. Let's call it what it is. We mopped the Jets with our second and third string team. So shout out to them. They, made what Drake May did not so impactful. So think about that when it comes to the MVP, do with that what you will.
Damn,
but no, the community wants to get the proverbial monkey off their back. They need that road win, right? McDermott's 0-5, Josh is 0-4, on the road in the playoffs. Everyone knows that going in, and that's like the meme thing now in the community. It's like, when was the last time they won on the road? It's like, all right.
Can I poke a hole in that immediately?
Yeah,
go for it.
I think it is such a dumb thing that gets thrown out there because, for one, he's 0-4, right? The first loss was his first ever playoff game that he took the Houston Texans when Deshaun Watson was still otherworldly to overtime, and I think you could easily argue should have won that game. He did some
hands down.
That was when Josh was doing you never knew what you were going to get, right?
He was jumping over people.
like you never knew on a single snap what he was going to do. But then every other road playoff loss is against the Chiefs.
Everyone.
It's not like every year it ends with Josh. No, it's the same single team that no one outside of the Eagles and Tom Brady and 1 year of Joe Burrow have been able to beat in the playoffs. To me, it's highly overrated, that stat.
And they weren't blowouts. They were all dramatic games.
Dramatic, yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
Great there. Yeah. I had to let that one breathe because that was good. That was good.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about it late because we're going to do 2 shows this week because we're playoffs, right? So we're going to do Monday and we're going to do what I think we're taking our normal Thursday time. But
Thursday,
we'll hammer that. Yeah, so Thursday at our normal time. That'll be a big Jags preview. And I'll probably say this stat again. But, guys, the Jags are on an 8-game winning streak.
But are they, though?
These are the quarterbacks they have faced in that stretch.
Yeah.
Justin Herbert, I believe that was right after he broke his hand.
Yep.
Jacoby Brissett, Cam Ward, Daniel Jones got hurt right away in that game, and they faced Riley Leonard for his first cup of coffee in the NFL. Brady Cook, Bo Nix. I will give all the credit in the world. They kicked the Broncos' ass that game. And then Phillip Rivers, and then Cam Ward got hurt on the first drive yesterday, and they faced Brandon Allen. So
if you were to ask true NFL fans who half of those players are, Cook and Allen, they would literally not know.
Yeah. They've been doing what they're supposed to. The Jaguars, they just been doing what they're supposed to. I don't see them really overpowering a Buffalo Bills team that season. They haven't looked perfect. Yeah, they say, you can gash this team on the ground, but it's like, I mean, these guys are prepared. They've been through it. You know what I'm saying? And have the Jaguars been through it? Nah, they're not battle tested like the Bills are. So we'll see if that athleticism and that youth can go 4 quarters or more. But I know that, like you said, the Buffalo Bills, they might not have won those games on the road, but man, they know how to play in those games. It's always down to just one play, and it doesn't even have to do with the offense. So the offense go be there. It's a matter, and now we got a special teams. Speaking of Ray Davis, who's leading the league in special teams, so that helps. That only helps the offense, and it hurts your offense. So, yeah, I think we have all the advantages in this game. They only have the better record.
Ray Davis has become such a weapon. It feels like every drive is starting at midfield ever since he's been taken over on these kick. And like you said, Stevie, he literally led the league in average kick return yards.
30.2.
Such a weapon because think about that. You're starting now on the 40. Sometimes he gets you to the 50. You're already almost in field goal range, which speaking of field goal range, the Bills never do anything easy, right? They have a bye week in week 17 and week 18, I mean. While we're talking about it, shout out to James Cook, right? To Big Jimbo, let James Cook. He won the rushing title. It was a nail-biter. Derrick Henry took it down to the wire, but Jimbo had, 2 carries this week? And it was enough because he was so far out and ahead of the pack that he was able to secure that. We're going to talk a lot about him this week because it's the number 1 rushing attack against the number 1 rush defense. But back on Bill's stuff from this week, right? Bye in week 18. You think, okay, let's just escape healthy. But they don't because Matt Prater is dealing with a quad issue again. And I found this pretty funny. The Bills said they have a plan when it comes to kicker. either Matt Prater kicks or he doesn't. Like
that's it.
They're gonna bring in like guys like Younghoe Koo and other kickers who have bounced around the league. But I wanted to ask you guys, because for me the answer is yes. But would that change the way you approach stuff in this playoff game if you don't have your starting kicker?
Man, I'm leaning on Ray Davis, or I'm just leaning on those 2-point conversions. You know, I'm one of those coaches. Like I coach my high school team, and we win for 2 every time. You know, so it's like I'm one of those guys. Even when you playing Matt, I'm going for 2. You know, so I really don't. I don't care about it.
That's Jimmy. Sorry, Drew. I was gonna say the same exact thing. I was gonna say I would go for 2. I'm either punting or I'm going on 4 downs. Like I don't want to lose a game because of a kick.
This is all gas, no brakes. We are here. It is 0-0. It is a win or go home situation every game. So either way, we're leaning on Ray Davis, whether he's kicking the ball off, whether he's kicking field goals, which, mind you, he has a chance to do something I don't think, and I'll have it for later in the week, I promise. I'll validate this. If he kicks field goals in the playoffs for whatever reason, if Prater kicks or he doesn't, he could be the first person to lead the league in kickoff return yards and kick points in the same season. Could you imagine that? That is the most Buffalo Bills football thing ever. Like, that is blue collar, grab your helmet, let's go.
And it's only right to have a guy like Steve Tasker on that franchise history to have another guy like Ray Davis to do something like this. So,
boom.
Yeah, I mean, even shout out to Brian Moorman, man. Look, speaking about all the legends, Farewell, High Mark, and all that. Man, Moorman's another special teams legend. You know, shout out to Roscoe Parrish, man, returning. You know, so yeah, man, I think that'd be cool. That's why I'm not really worried about it. Hopefully. I mean, obviously, we know we ain't gonna go kick no 50-yarders. You know, at that point, we probably going for it if we at that part of the territory. You know, or we might just do that little pooch punt or whatever.
Pooch punt, yep.
Yeah, and just handle it like that. But we're not asking him to do nothing crazy, and he's shown that he can do the regular things. And our team has shown the ability to take over those 2-point conversions with the plethora of running backs that we have in that running back room.
And here's the other thing that a lot of people – oh, sorry, Guru, I didn't mean to cut you off, but I wanted to let you know this. If you remember back in the preseason when Ray was making those kicks, the Mafia went nuts. So we know how the Mafia travels when it comes. We were talking pre-show. They got flights directly from Buffalo to Jacksonville this week. They're going to be loaded. I can't wait to see those TikToks and Twitter, videos. It's going to be nuts. The shout song's going to be crazy on those planes. But if he kicks a meaningful field goal in Jacksonville, for example, and we are in the lead, that place is going to rumble because of how much momentum that's going to give us. Like, that is a game-changing type aspect right there. And that's going to fire everyone up.
Everything you guys said is factual. Back to Ray Davis, I'd rather trust Josh Allen and James Cook on 4th down
100%. Yes.
than have our 3rd-string running back kick or 2nd-string running back kick a field goal. Like,
great glass in case of emergency.
If it was week 18, I'm saying send him out there for every kick. Who cares? But it's win or go home. So I think this could be a good thing. Because I will give McDermott credit. I think he's done a better job of being more aggressive this year and like last year and stuff. When he first got here, he was not very aggressive. Yeah. But I think this might just push him to just be like, we're going all out. Like, 4 down territory, we're going for 2. Where if you're going to beat us, you're going to have to outscore our best players. Because that's who the Bills' best players are on the offensive side of the ball here. So, but that wasn't the only injury, guys. Maxwell Harrison, the 1st-round pick, who has really been coming on strong, is dealing with an ankle injury. They've already called him week to week. They already said they don't expect him to play next week. And I want to ask you guys how you think this impacts them against Jacksonville, which I don't think it's great at all. But I do want to point out that this goes all the way back to Darius Slay. Because when the Bills claimed Darius Slay, they had to waive Ingram. And when they waived Jamarcus Ingram, he was their 4th-string corner. he was the one that would have been out there playing for Harrison yesterday. And they asked McDermott, like, did you consider playing people out of position? And he said, yeah, but it's really hard to protect everyone. I think Harrison is a huge loss here because the Jaguars could go 3 wide, right? They got Jacoby Myers, they got Parker Washington, they got Brian Thomas Jr., and Harrison seemed like a natural fit on BTJ because BTJ has kind of just become a field stretcher, a go route runner for them. But he's fast and he's got that blazing speed, and Harrison would have matched up really well with him. Now you're hearing reports that Dane Jackson might get the call up. And Dane is very experienced, but he's not the same player that he was a few years ago. So this worries me a little bit. But how are you guys feeling about Harrison potentially being out this week?
Yeah, I dislike it all the way. You know, obviously I'm a supporter of the Wildcats. You know, so to see him go out on a week 18 after battling a knee injury to come back to the season, seeing the role that he had with guarding elite guys like Watto, guarding guys like Worthy at the time, where it was like, okay, Worthy's that guy. But then after Max blanketed him, you didn't really hear about him no more. You know, and that's off of an injured knee. So, you know, it's tough to see him go out right now, especially going into a new season, quote unquote, with this playoffs. My guess is he'll be back. I think he'll be playing, you know. But if he's not able to play, I still feel like we have the guys. You know, we have the guys, the committee to really match up against the Jaguars offense.
Yeah, I agree, Stevie. And I think it'll come down to the scheme. If he does play, you're going to have to check what he's able to do early and then figure out how to get help potentially, you know, on his routes to who to cover. You know, if Dane Jackson has to play, you know, I hope that, you know, it's the better half of when we've seen him on tape instead of the latter, but, you know, is what it is. Run what you brung. I mean, we're in the playoffs, all gas, no brakes. Let's go. So I hate it. I you know, prayers up, you know, speedy recovery. Hopefully you can get out there and play, but, you know, time will tell. You know, Wednesday we'll figure out what he did on practice, and then going forward, you know, they have to be more specific, I think, on availability for the playoffs, you know, going forward. So I think that's going to be a telltale sign.
Yeah, another thing, like Babbage, it's not like our defense is really like player led in a sense. You know, it's like team led. You know, and Babbage mixes it up. So yeah, that's another reason why I'm not really as worried. You know, the defense has become a hybrid since we brought in a Max, to where you can match up guys, and then you've seen Christian Benford turn into what he has turned into, an elite lockdown. Yeah. So now we can see our team turning into more of a player led. Okay, you go over there, you match up with him, and then we'll go from there. But I think that'll probably ascend more next year. So right now they're still in the flow of team ball. So I think they'll be fine.
One thing I like that they've been doing more as of late since Harrison returned is they've been putting him, which naturally makes a lot of sense, on the speedier receivers. Yes. And they've been using Trey White on the bigger guys, right? Like he's out there with tight ends or big body, because he might not have that second gear like he used to have where he could keep up with the Blazers, but he is still a tremendous talent out there. And he's put some of these bigger dudes in clamps, and it's extremely impressive. So very curious now how they operate that secondary, which is supposed to be a strength on paper. My fear, though, and I don't want to blow up a spot, but if you guys remember last year's AFC Championship game, Christian Benford goes out with the concussion, and the Chiefs were just like, wherever Elam is, that's where we're throwing the ball. So we need to avoid getting into a situation like that where whoever, if it's Dane or whoever, they just can't be a liability where you're like, all right, he's there, we're throwing there. He's there, we're throwing there. Because that's what I truly believe ultimately cost the Bills a Super Bowl visit last season.
Yeah, but not all the way, because then you got to think about the guys on the line. Where is the pressure at to help out a DB?
Yeah,
you know, because the DB obviously is at a disadvantage against playmakers, and then you got a playmaker that's connected with their quarterback. So, you know, you already at a double disadvantage. So that's where you need pressure, which the Buffalo Bills show. You put a little bit of pressure on any quarterback, if you don't have that elite connection or chemistry with that player, the defense will win. And that's how the defense became number one in pass defense, because the pressure that Bosa was getting on guys, Rousseau, Epinesa, Deion Walker, all those guys was getting that pressure. You saw the resurgence of Milano and Shaq coming downhill during, like, it's a lot of different things that Babbage throw, and they have great players to fill these roles now with the health. So yeah, that it's like back then when they picked on Elam, there was no pressure at all. The QB just sitting back there and playing off coverage. You know what I mean? Like Elam was like the scapegoat for the transition to what they're becoming right now. You know, and you know it's necessary to have that though. But I think that part definitely helped the draft, because you see all they drafted was straight linemen and linebacker, right? I don't even think a linebacker, was all linemen. So yeah.
The D line has definitely vanished in a lot of those road playoff losses that we were talking about earlier. So they have a chance to change the narrative this week. We're gonna give out season awards, but before we do, Drew, I don't know if you saw this. I sent it to Stevie earlier. I was like, they got Trevor Lawrence a grill. That scares me because he's feeling himself. He's having his swag. Stevie reminded me, though, that Josh already has the ice and stuff, and he's got the MVP chain. So I don't know. I don't know. We're going to break this down from a X's and O's standpoint later, but the vibes are high with the Jags. Before we give our awards, I did want to ask you guys, because I think, Drew, I don't got to tell you, right? Like, you're seeing the community say this a lot, too, I'm sure. Like, are we saving our big plays for like, are we just kind of being vanilla to end the season because of that? So Stevie, as someone who has been in these meetings, been in these huddles and everything, is that something that teams actually do? Do they be like, we're gonna save our best plays for the playoffs and the big? I think the Chiefs do it, and I'm hoping that the Bills are starting to. But I'm just an outsider viewing it. You're someone who has been there. So is that something that they actually do?
Sometimes, yeah. You know, there's always plays that coaches will be comfortable using over and over. Then there's some players who's like, okay, we only go bring this out certain times. Only if we set them up with this type of play, then I'll use this. And it's definitely not to be used during a Week 18 game, though. So yeah, there are times like that, and I think that's in every playbook. So it's not really a myth. But at the end of the day, it's not like that one play is something that you've never seen. It's just something that team hasn't done in a while, I would say. You know, but every team has that play in their book, whatever it is.
Have you ever ran a play a bunch in camp and then you're like, we're not using that until the playoffs? Because you hear of teams doing that, but I'm always a little skeptical.
Nah, not necessarily, because you got to get to the playoffs, you know. So if that play is that good, you should be using it, and that's kind of what I was battling though in my time. Like, why are we doing this basic play, like these basic plays? Like, just let the quarterback get back there and take advantage of this guy and just throw, you know what I mean? Like, just do things like that, and that's what kind of the game has turned to now. But yeah, it was so vanilla back then where, yeah, they were holding plays, but I don't think they were saving and thinking like, you know, we'll wait to the playoffs to get to this one, you know.
And before we give out our awards, I do want to point out that, Drew, you have something new in your setup back there.
Oh, this thing?
Yeah.
The Why So Serious SJ13 OC collab? Yeah. I like OC. That.
Mm-hmm. Representing. I see you back there. I see you got the legendary Fina in the building too.
Oh yeah, and E-Wood.
Yep. Got Captain.
That's a good collection.
I got
the OC. They're doing
Milano and Kyle Williams too.
Hey, yeah, you saying watch party coming up?
I saw they're doing a watch party for the game this weekend.
There it is. Look, shout out to the OC. We also got a shout out to our Cigar Mafia sponsors, because they're sponsoring a watch party in Las Vegas. The Sin City Bills backers is going to be shouting out to Naked City, Las Vegas, and it'll be this week, Wild Card Week. So we got the OC and we got LV. Shout out to all of our sponsors and our backers out there.
You never know what city you're going to find Stevie in. He just got back to the country. He's already about to hit the road again.
Hey, season ain't over yet. It's still work to be done.
For sure.
Yes. Cigar Mafia. Hopefully, a lot of you were at the Ralph yesterday, celebrating a final regular season victory there with a sweet victory. Maybe you had the Air Allen hat on, which I still need to get myself one of because that is a sick hat. But yeah, it's Cigar
Me too.
Mafia.
Yeah.
If you're in Buffalo, there's 3 different locations. If you're not, cigarmafia.com right there. Gets everything that you need, your cigars, your Bills merchandise,
accessory,
rocking it on the show.
No, they crazy. They got so many creations. I'm gonna tell you how wild they are. So Don Dennis is shout out to the cigar team. They all in Jacksonville right now. They'll be preparing for the wild card in Jacksonville while I'll be holding it down in Las Vegas. But they already booked their flight to Vegas to run it back at Naked City. Already assuming that they're going to beat the Bills are going to beat the Jaguars. So, hey, that's how wild our guys are, and I'm with them. I got their back because I'm ready to double down.
Let's go. I might have to get out there next week if they make it to the divisional. I might have to book a last minute flight. Drew?
If Cigar Mafia, I can't make it to Vegas. I don't got that time, unfortunately. I would love to, and if I can make it work, let's figure it out. But you know what? Just putting a little, spark in the brain of the Cigar Mafia people. What is we were talking about legendary, kick returners earlier. What is he known for? It might be chili, and he had that cigar. They should do a Steve Tasker Cigar Mafia collab if they haven't already.
There you go. Hey, there you go. We already have a special collectible for Thurman Thomas.
Yep.
And hey, why not? There you go, Drew Buckets. There you go. Creating.
I'm always thinking.
Yep. There you go.
They got to get an SJ13 one going too. I mean,
we got the watch, so they got to just get on the site, cigarmafia.com. We got all types of collectibles on there. And it's more than cigars, surprisingly. So
it's a dope website.
Enjoy.
I'm about to go spend way too much money there later. Getting all this.
Make sure you use code Stevie13 when you spend that money, so you don't spend too much.
Professional, right there. Oh, fellas, I teased it enough. All right, we got to give out our 2025.
Let's go.
Regular season awards, because hopefully there's a lot of postseason ones to hand out. But we'll go around the horn. We'll start with you, Drew. Who is your MVP of this Bills season?
Regular season MVP, I got to give it to Superman JA17. Without him, we wouldn't be where we are today. He is my 2025 Buffalo Bills MVP. No question.
Okay, for me, I'm going to say my seasonal MVP is going to go to this man right here, James
Jimbo
Cook. I feel like he held it down. And to think about it, we got one of the best special teams players in the league, and he still led the league in rushing. Come on now. That's an MVP material right there. So, yeah, I'm going to go with James Cook, baby.
Yeah, James Cook, I'm happy he's getting the recognition that he deserves, right? Like, he has been ascending ever since he got to Buffalo, and now one of – I mean, are we ready to say he's the best in the league? He did lead them in rushing, but –
he's the best.
He's not the best. He's top 3, top 5. Like, he is up there. But Mookie also went as his MVP. I went with Josh Allen. That is my guy. The quarterback gets the MVP, but I'll start OPY, right? Mine is James Cook, right? Like, to me, those are the 2 best players on the Bills. 17 and 4 are the reason why I think the Bills could go all the way this year. It starts and ends with those 2, in my opinion. But so he wasn't my MVP, but he's my offensive player of the year. And I know Mookie has it inverted. He has Cook as his MVP and Allen as his offensive player of the year.
Well, I'm gonna bounce off that. Then we'll go to you, Guru. So I'm gonna have this guy as my offensive MVP. Seem like me and Don Mookie are seeing it the same way. So I'm gonna go with Josh Allen as our offensive MVP. Obviously, the offense goes through Josh. He's the manager of it ultimately. I hate that the word manager is being thrown out there like it's a bad thing. Josh has turned into an elite playmaking manager, and he's showing it in the offense that he has, and he's leading them to the promised land. So I'm going to go with Josh Allen as Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it to Jimbo. Offensive player of the year in my book is Jimbo. It's 1A, 1B with him and Josh. They're right there. That's the dynamic duo. What Jimbo did this year to set us up. You forget that sometimes he went out of bounds at like the 4, he got pushed out, and then Josh ran it in. Ray ran it in. Ty Johnson ran it in. So he could have got a lot more touchdowns this year had they not been poached or whatever, but I just, they're so good together, and with them, that's where our offense is right now. So he's my offensive player of the year.
And look, I know we all have the same answers, just inverted, but like anyone who watched the Bills this year knows that is the correct answer. Like you can argue which one is MVP and which one is offensive, but there's no one else in this offense that is topping those two. Similarly, even more intact we all picked the same defensive player of the year for the Bills.
Yeah.
One of us picked Benford.
Yes,
let's
sir.
go.
Christian Benford, man. Look, he came in, he did his thing. He did exactly what we needed. We was requesting, hey, what's going to happen? How do the defense get better? Well, you got to start pressing cornerbacks pressing your corners on these receivers at that part. And what did they do? Benford started doing exactly that. Then it was like, okay, what's going on with the opposite side? You got to have Benford travel. And then what did they start doing? Having Benford travel. And what he did, lockdown. And then him getting in the end zone, it's a blessing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's not always going to happen, but he was in the right place at the right time multiple weeks. And you got to give credit where credit is due. So defensive player of the year definitely had to go to Christian Benford for locking down.
I still feel like he is insanely underrated outside of Buffalo, right? Like he is one of the better. He literally had a 7-week stretch where he locked down every single number one and it was like top tier, like Jamar Chase, Nico Collins, Drake London, names like that, and he was shutting them down.
Just giving a shout out.
Also, he's their best sack guy outside of the D lineman. Like he does it all. I think he is highly underrated. And you guys know how it is with DBs, right? Like you have to have 2 great years before you start to get national recognition. This is his 2nd great year in a row. And I think if Benford, Drew, do you agree with this? I think of all Bills players, outside of the quarterback getting a ring, I think Christian Benford could make the biggest name for himself this postseason.
Oh yeah, without question. Like you were saying, like you both were saying, the versatility of what this man does on a football field, sideline to sideline, end zone to end zone is insane. 2 sacks, the picks, 2 picks, touchdown. He's locking everyone down at the same time. He's over the middle. He had tons of solo tackles and helps. It's like he does it all. Like without him on our defense, at times, he was our defense. So he held it down.
Yeah, got to give credit where it's due. So, Guru, you can start off. No. Yeah, Guru, you guys will start it off again with your, what is it?
Rookie of the year?
Rookie of the year?
Mookie, we're once again in lockstep on this one. Actually, Drew, you could announce this one because all 3 of us, Stevie, you were the only one that differed on Rookie of the Year here.
Yeah, okay. Yep. So go ahead and give yours.
We gave it to the Wildcat rookie, Dion Walker. This dude is a game wrecker. He cannot be stopped. He is insanely strong. Once he unchained himself, the first couple games he was like still learning the motions and going through it, but when they gave him the keys, he was just awesome. He got sacks, he got disruptions in the pass game. That dude is massive. When his hands go up, it's like goalposts, and he's knocking everything down. So he led to multiple interceptions. So we had to give it to him.
Facts. Yeah, I definitely like that. This is like a 1A, 1B type of thing.
Right.
Also, considering you need, like I said, you need that D line to help out the cornerback play. And what my pick was Max. I went with Max Harrison, another Wildcat. And why did I go with Max? Even though he played limited, he still contributed to having the number 1 pass defense. Considering he played against top guys, it wasn't like he was only on one side or they was taking care of him. We saw his attitude. We saw him running up to make tackles. We saw him during times where he got scored on and he didn't lose his confidence. So I felt like what Max will bring will help our defense out. I don't want to say a lot more than what Dion would, because it will be great. But if let's say our defense wasn't getting shredded all day with the run, I'll probably heavily go with Dion too, because he made a difference. But
True.
You know what I'm saying? Our offensive pass game, they was making completions, but they made adjustments and they put players where they needed to. And that's where I put our rookie in there at Max, for doing what he did against Kansas City at that time.
Stevie, how dope is it that both picks for Bills Rookie of the Year are Kentucky Wildcats?
Man, it just shows, that there are guys there in Kentucky that carry over to the NFL and it feel like they got a chip on their shoulder, even though they're really great players. But it's like, again, you go to Kentucky, it's not really championship like James Cook went to Georgia. He had a championship maybe 2 years out of the 3 years he was there. Kentucky, we was fighting to get there, and that's just like going to Buffalo. We fighting to get to the Lombardi, so it's that same will, and you got that mixture, and it just shows, they got dogs everywhere in the SEC or in all college areas.
Look, I know for a long time Kentucky was a basketball school. It feels like that might be changing a little bit.
Well, hey, look, we go keep it original with hoop right now. You know what I'm saying? We go let them do their thing until we get like some championships under our belt, some more of them. But yeah, it's cool right now. It's a hybrid school, I say.
Okay. I respect that. And then which one of you guys want to go first for biggest surprise? We have a few different answers here.
Yeah, I'll start us off. So in the biggest surprise, we're going to go with another Wildcat, Ray Davis. You know what I'm saying? I did not see leading the league in special teams in the books for Ray Davis. But, I mean, dude, from last year, I don't think he returned one kick. I don't even know what he was doing. I know he was doing his thing on offense. So I did not see him being a special teams guru right now. And what he's done, it surprised the heck out of me. And I know it surprised everybody else in the league. But if you understand the work that he's done, it's not really surprising. At Kentucky, he was up for the Heisman. You see him running. He only goes forward. He only falls forward. So I guess it was fitting for him to be a kick return ace and being a stud running back. It's hard to bring down. So that's a big surprise right there. And I think he definitely get the award for it.
Our resident Wildcat getting to show love to three different, like the Bills just have success with Kentucky players. Drew, you're a Louisville guy, right?
Yeah, L's up. And here's the thing. I saw Ray Davis live at U of L versus UK go for like 200 plus yards and 3 tuds. He shredded us. I was there in person, watched it happen. And I was like, man, I hope he's on the Buffalo Bills one day. And then he shows up. And all this Kentucky Wildcat love, I'm gonna have to go take a shower after this. This is like grossing me out. But here I am, right? I'm throwing my L up while I'm saying my special guy is Mad Max, right? I mean, for the reasons we've listed already, keep the love for the Wildcats going. You got to respect it. What this dude did, coming off an injury, his 2 interceptions this year were game-changing interceptions. They were hype. I remember the first interception he had. It was like you saw everything that he has ever worked for his entire life just lift off his shoulders, and that man was free. And, it's super unfortunate, as we mentioned earlier, that he got hurt in the last game. But, what he has done this year, he's put in the work. He's, Poyer's protege, he is working with him nonstop. They are working all the time. So it's like, what this man has done, I almost gave it to Ray. I'm not gonna lie but he was. I think Max is my special dude of the year. That he's just put in the work. He grinded back from injury as a rookie. That's hard to do, and make a name for yourself. And he did it. And he did it up against elite level players in the NFL first year. That's hard to do.
Man,
I'm so
excited. Off the knee, bro. That's crazy.
Yeah. I'm so excited to see what he could be in year 2 when hopefully he has a normal offseason, because this offseason was anything but normal. And it was just a constant injury. Like, if he's healthy, he's going to be a special player, I think. Right. Me and Mookie had the same answer for biggest surprise. It's Cole Bishop.
Yep.
I don't know if you guys remember earlier in the year, it was like the Bills are gonna have to trade for a safety. Like they have no one right now that's getting the job done. And then I'm stealing from a popular tweet, but someone tweeted one day, they were like, Cole Bishop woke up in like week 4 and decided to be an all-pro. And that's what he has played since then. Like, and you speak about Jordan Poyer being a mentor. I think Jordan Poyer has meant a lot for Cole Bishop and has really helped him. He always had the physical tools, but I think Jordan Poyer helped him get the mental side of things down and see the game differently. And Bishop has become a weapon, and one that I feel like the last couple of weeks, the Bills have dialed it back a little bit with him, but I'm really excited to see how they unleash him in the playoffs.
I like that one. I like that because we haven't really heard too much on Cole too, and he definitely stepped up and took off to another level. So I think he'll definitely be one of those guys all around the field coming up against this Jaguar team. We're going to need that type of athleticism.
Yeah, yes, they are. The Jags got athletes, man.
Mm-hmm.
We have to shout it out, right? We might be on to the playoffs in real life. The playoffs are sadly behind us in fantasy. Now, only one of the 3 of us made the playoffs. I didn't win. I lost in the semis. I got bounced. So shout out to FaZe. He was Team Josh Allen 2028 on being the HBHF Fantasy League champion. He beat Matt, Team Just Joshin, in the finals. And look, no disrespect, Matt. It wasn't close. Like FaZe was a beast all year. He was the number 1 seed. He very much so deserved to be league champion.
Yeah, for sure. We're gonna send out a care pack for you. And congratulations on your dub, man. You did it. You did it all season long.
Yeah. You got to come back and defend your title next year now. That's what it means.
Must.
Yeah, let's run it back. Yo, keep that belt away, though, man. That BTA was hard to deal with this year.
For FaZe?
Yeah. Oh, he beat me up and down the field like I stole something from him.
Man, yeah. So we definitely gonna send a pack out to him. We got some JH Pro gloves, signature series. I'm gonna send you some cigar Mafia. You know what I mean? You know, and we got some extra things for you for your victory, man. Yeah, it was impressive because I know I thought I was gonna have the belt after going 5-0, and then I ran into Mr. Buckets here, and you derailed me. I didn't win a game the rest of the season after that.
Somehow I finished dead last. What? I admit it. Hand up, man up. That was me. I finished dead last. Miss Margot finished me off in the last week of the season to put me dead last. She stole, the trade of the century. She did that voodoo on me and then buried me in the last week of the season. And then
I'm just gonna plant this seed. I know it's hard for us to get out on a whim for a game, but maybe we could plan something to draft in person in August. Maybe in Orange County, in Vegas, in Kentucky. I don't know. We got to find somewhere somehow. But it would be dope if we could all get together and get the whole league or as many together as possible and do the draft in person. It always elevates.
Let's go.
Barbecue's on me if that happens, fellas. I got him.
You heard it. Let us know where we can host that, and we'll be there to put on and expose the whole community.
And like we were saying earlier, we have a lot of really fun off-season stuff planned, but we're going to worry about that in the off-season. Hopefully after a Super Bowl, for however long this Bills playoff run goes, we are going to be going 2 times a week. I think this schedule kind of works out well. Maybe we have to change it a bit here or there, but Mondays are our recap. Thursdays are our look ahead. And hopefully we get to do this for the next month plus, fellas, because I don't know about you guys. If we have to come on a Monday after a Bills loss, that first day is always like I'm mourning a friend or something like that. So I hope we never experience that this year. I hope we experience Monday on February 8th, and we're all very happy.
A sweet victory, right?
Yes, sir.
Hey.
Before we say goodbye, though, one of our own wasn't able to join us today. We were hoping that he would. The one and only Mookie, Don Mook, Well, he's doing bigger and better. Like, I love this podcast. I think there's not much bigger or better than it. But what Mookie's doing today is I'm pulling it up exactly right here. He was getting sworn in as a newly elected member of the Buffalo Board of Education. So shout out to him, making the community a better place. Don Mook, we missed you today. He was at Highmark yesterday for the final game and now helping make his community a better place today. He is part of what makes this pod so great. So shout out to you, Mookie.
Shout out to you, Mook. That's a
Shout out, Don Mook.
Right, that's a sweet victory. I'll tell you that much. It's time to spark up for you, brother.
Hey, while we're sparking up, Stevie, I got one more thing. And Guru, please give me just a second. Today is also a very special day in my family as well. Happy birthday to my mom, Nancy. Shout out to Mom. She watches every episode, her and my dad. They've been watching since the beginning, so they are podcast OGs. They love this podcast. That my mom has learned a ton about the sport through us. So, we are spreading good while we're doing this, but we're also spreading knowledge. So shout out to Mom. Happy birthday. We'll call you in a little while. So happy birthday, Mom.
Happy birthday. Hi, Mom.
Shout out to the original Mrs. Buckets, right?
Yeah.
And Junior Buckets. Buckets said his daughter got a hoop game coming up. Yeah,
this Saturday.
Let's go.
So the schedule worked out nicely for you, Drew, because I was a little afraid they might be playing on Saturday.
Yeah. Oh, I called it. I said we were going to be that 1 p.m. Sweet Sunday time slot. That's our comfort zone. That's where we thrive, right? Yeah. You put us in an island game, those haven't gone well for us in 2025. You put us in 1 p.m. on a Sunday, you better watch out.
I saw Jaguars fans complaining about it because they always get the 1 o'clock. And they were like, yo, if the Jags make the Super Bowl, they're going to move it to 1 o'clock. And I thought that was pretty funny.
That's hilarious.
Hey, man, let's go.
I hope your daughter kills it on Saturday. Stevie, I hope your kids are tuning up that ping pong skills because Stevie said he's not letting them win again.
Yep. No more easy dubs. You got to earn it. It's playoff time.
We will be back for playoffs, breaking down everything. We previewed it a little bit today, but this was more end of the season recap. Shout out, wanting to pay our respects to the stadium and everything. Thursday, though, we are going to get deep into Bills versus Jags, the X's and O's, all of that, the key players. But yeah, until Thursday, anything you want to say to the people before we say goodbye?
Handle biz, have fun, repeat. See y'all in Duval.
Go Bills.
And that's a wrap. Hope you don't miss us too much until next time. Follow the Sick Podcast Bills Banter on YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Google Play, and Apple Podcasts.